Welcome back to MTDCNC. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. And let me tell you, you will be happy you did today because you got Dave Fischer with me today. And we have one of their great 4-axis Okuma machines. There is some technology to this that on this part we're making today here at Okuma, they instantly saved 40% of the cycle time by utilizing one turret over another turret, but Dave has all the wisdom when it comes to this machine. And I don't like to steal people's thunder, so David, good to have you with us. Let's talk about the capabilities of this machine and what you're showing off on this part today.
So what we're doing here, obviously we've got 2 turrets. So what sets this machine apart, our LU series, is we have an upper and a lower turret. And on this demo, we're showing what it would take to make this part with a single turret, which would be your more traditional turret lathe, and then what it would take, what we can save by applying 2 turrets to the process, right? So when we run a single turret, we're a little over 5 minutes cycle time. We add the second turret, we're doing pinch turning, we're doing simultaneous grooving, simultaneous threading, and we're taking that time down to just under 3 minutes. So like you said, over 40% cycle time reduction by adding that second turret, right? So significant time reduction. And then on top of that, we're using our cutting step feed function. And what that does is rather than just making a straight pass, it's gonna step it, right? So it breaks that chip. And we can set how far we wanna cut before we take the step, and then how long that step's going to be, or how long that the dwell is going to be. So basically we look at when that chip starts to wrap, and we shorten the step a little bit shorter than that, and then we dwell long enough to break that chip. So
yeah, that makes sense
that's
to
what
me,
we're doing
Dave.
with that.
Something else I'd like to bring up, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm out of place, but yes, we're talking about over 5 minutes to around 3 minutes, around 40% savings. I mean, to me, the investment is pretty obvious.
Right.
But also what we're doing in a lot of cases, and you've seen this more than I, but in a lot of cases, this can be a one-and-done process, and it can be a one-and-done faster process, or at least it's combining multiple operations and putting it into one. And we've had this conversation with other Okuma friends as well, but ultimately, we're fighting for floor space these days. We're trying to get more done in the machines.
Right.
And something like this will help us in that category as well, right?
Right, and you're actually getting more done per operator, right? So you're getting more done per operator.
More done per operator.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to find operators nowadays, so that's critically important.
So speaking of trying to find operators, could I also adapt a robot or a cobot system to this cell as well?
Yeah. We can do a gantry, we can do a standalone robot, whichever way the customer would prefer to go. We can stack them up multiple machines, gantry over 2, 3 machines, whatever's necessary, make the part. And we can combine machines. So if you have cycle times where your first operation takes significantly longer than your second operation, we can use this for your longer operation, right, to get that cycle time down. And then use a traditional 1 turret lathe on the second op where you have less material to remove. So your tack time is reduced, but you don't need that cycle time reduction on the second op.
And ultimately, that's all what we're trying to do, right? Reduce cycle times, have more profitability, do more in the machines, flexible, rigid, precision. These are all things that come with Okuma. Is there anything you'd like to discuss about the software or the back end of the machine? I know you have some components that are unique to Okuma themselves. Is there anything you'd like to elaborate on that I haven't brought up just by bringing up this part?
Yeah, well, another thing we're doing with this is we've gone away from proc switches to a laser sensor for the chuck to detect chuck clamp unclamp. And what's nice about this is from one part to the other, your clamping position will vary, right? Well, with the proc switches, you had to always manually adjust those proc switches to get to the clamping position. With the laser sensor, it basically knows where in that range it is. You set it for this part, and you can put that value in the program. You may have another part that's in a different position. You set it for that part. You put it in the program. When you switch programs back and forth, the machine knows you don't have to do any manual adjustment back here. It adapts to whatever part you're running. You get your confirmation, your setup time's reduced. Like we said, it's hard to find operators, set up people. We want to save as much time as possible, and this just takes it out of their hands. It's done for them, and it's ready to go when they call up the program.
David, you know, as you're talking, I'm mentally going through my my history of my manufacturing days, and I've definitely put a part into a machine and either had to run air cuts because I didn't want to cut too much as it was pushed forward in like a bar feed or something like that, but this is 20 years ago at this time.
Right,
or
right.
I've cut off too much of the part because it stuck out too far and I broke my insert or whatever it might be. So that's really great technology to switch from the prox to the laser. I'm sure the audience appreciates that as well.
Yeah, yeah. And again, with an open control like we have with the OSB, that gives the ability to adapt to new technologies, right? Because we can put those right into our control. They can run on the control. We don't have to have a separate PLC or that type of work. It's right on our control.
Well, adaptability is key these days. I know Okuma is a leader when it comes to adaptability. Really great technology. I'm going to let you off the hot seat now, David.
Oh.
You've done an amazing job. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. I hope you've learned as much from David as I have today. Really great technology. Give Okuma a call to learn some more.